What is going on, all you beautiful and sexy people? This is Manufactured Opinion here, bringing you my first Dark Souls 2 video, and welcome all, welcome all. Mr. Mustachio welcomes all. And today we're actually going to be covering quite a few things in this video. As you can see, it is 25 minutes long. We are going to be covering the Drangleic armor, and I'm probably completely butchering that name. We're also going to get the sword and the shield. We're also going to be fighting the last giant and the pursuer, as well as hitting a couple of secrets that I feel are semi-important to important. Now, my subscribers slash followers will know I'm not a Dark Souls 2, or excuse me, Dark Souls expert by any stretch of the imagination. But I was perusing YouTube and saw a couple videos touching on these bosses, touching on this armor, but nothing really in-depth, no step-by-step guide on something, what exactly to do, I guess, and what could make your run through of this particular section of the game a bit easier. So I'm hoping that it will help somebody out there. I don't touch on every single item you can pick up from this area, as the video would probably be an hour long if I really wanted to do it right. But like I said, I'm going to be touching on the important parts, obviously the armor, both of the bosses, and then some other items, a couple of rings that I think will be important to help you through this area and hopefully future areas. So anyways, did you see me rewind that for a second? I got shot in the face and then did some kind of Matrix move. It was kind of delayed, Mr. Mustachio. You're supposed to do the Matrix move before the arrow hits you in the face. Not too sure why that happened. But you can actually see here that I have a piece of the Drangleic armor on already. And the reason why that is I'm actually running through the area, and then it switched back right there. You'll see that I'm running through the area again just to make the video a bit more streamlined, because when I was, obviously when I was recording it my first time going through here, I was all over the place because I had no idea what I was doing, and it was like 4 hours long. I was dying multiple times. I probably died 15 to 20 times at least. So I just ran back through the area, and then I'm going to intermittently put in clips when I actually went through my first time, just so you can actually see if it's your first time going through, seeing somebody go through for the first time. But anyways, I highly recommend that you take those hollow soldiers on the ground out first before you run up to this tower, because they will follow you up those stairs. And you saw I had to pick up my souls there because I had 5 guys chase me up the stairs and then proceed to poop all over me. So definitely kill those soldiers down there first near the tree. You can kite them around the tree. It's kind of difficult when you have the starting gear. There are a lot of them. Luckily, the knight that's sitting on the tree that we do want to kill doesn't aggro you until you attack him. And the sword I started out the video with is actually the sword you pick up from him. So it's definitely something you're going to want to do. By this point, you should have plenty of life gems. You should have a couple of Estus flasks. So you just kite him around the tree, and it's really not that difficult to kill him. And then you pick up his sweet-ass sword. So something you're going to want to keep in mind once you pick up this awesome sword is that we're going to want to upgrade it to +3 to make the later boss fights just a little bit easier on ourselves. And we'll actually gain the ability to do that by picking up the Blacksmith's key from the merchant up at the bonfire ahead. If you didn't take the time to talk to all the NPCs in Majula, I highly recommend that you do so, because one of them is the blacksmith, and he is missing the key to his hut, and he's trying to get back in so he can continue his work. And like I said, you'll be able to find that key or buy it for 1,000 souls from this merchant up ahead. You can actually go down that ledge there and pick up a few more items. I didn't include that in this video because there was nothing super important I felt like was down there. There's a fire sword near a fire-breathing lizard, I guess you can call it. I don't really know the correct term for it. There's a lot of soldiers down there as well. Definitely good for farming some souls if you need to. But you're going to go through the door. There'll be a bonfire there. Light the bonfire. This merchant will be right next to the bonfire. Buy the key, like I said. Head back to the blacksmith in Majula. Just fast travel there. Simple. Open the door for him. Don't try to drop the key at his feet like a derp like I did. Actually use it to open the door. There's a chest in there. He'll tell you to come back at a later point. What I did was I just fast traveled to this bonfire in the Forest of the Fallen Giants, and then I fast traveled back to Majula, and he was in there working, and then I was able to upgrade this knight's sword to +3. I believe it was 500 souls, 650 souls for level 2, and then 800 souls for level 3. So once you do that, you'll actually make the following sections a lot easier on yourself. So once you've upgraded your sword, if you decided to do so, we're going to head down this ladder back near the bonfire. And if you saw near the ladder there was a hole in the wall, that is a shortcut that you can actually access later on in the level, which I will show you in this video, which happened to me by pure chance and is actually extremely hilarious. I'm going to show you the clip. It's embarrassing as hell, but like I said, it's hilarious. It's definitely something you guys are going to want to see. Michael Bay explosions everywhere. But anyways, you want to head down the ladder, stick to the left, head out the doorway, drop off the tree here, and try to kill these enemies with a bit more finesse than I used. Don't get shot in the ass with so many arrows, and you won't even have as good as gear as I do here. This is actually me running back through the area when I already defeated the bosses, and I'm still acting like a noob. That's just me, you guys know that. But anyways, head over these planks. I highly recommend that you just run through everything, because it can become extremely frustrating with all of the archers trying to take on the melee fighters as well. There is a few items around if you drop down into the house, but nothing extremely important that you absolutely have to pick up. So once you head into this cave here, make sure that you actually stop as soon as you enter, because a boulder will roll down, and it will squash you like it did to me. I'm trying to limit the amount of embarrassing deaths that are in this video to, you know, maybe 3 or 4. And getting squashed by a boulder is just, that's where I draw the line. I'll just act like it never happened and just warn you of it. But anyways, you're going to want to head to the top of the cave once you access it and talk to Cale. And what you're going to want to do is exhaust all dialogue options with Cale, and you will eventually get the house key for a mansion back in Majula, which will give you access to what's called the Pharaoh's Lockstone, and there's also an Estus Flask Shard in the basement as well, so it's definitely something you're going to want to get. The Pharaoh's Lockstone gives you access to the Caranthes Ring later on in this level, so if that's something you want, all you have to do is talk to this guy. Just make sure that after you get the key, you keep talking to him, because I did a couple test runs. I ran through here a few times, and he didn't seem to show up in the house for, I guess it's twofold. One, you have to talk to him all the way through here until he keeps saying the same thing over and over again, and then you have to kill the skeleton in the basement, because it was kind of weird. I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but there's a map near the basement, and he talks about how he hears weird stuff in the house. And he didn't show up into the house until I killed the skeleton, because he says he's going to meet you back at the map, and he wasn't showing up there. So I went down in the basement, see if he was down in the basement, killed the skeleton, obviously, because the skeleton attacks you, picked up the Estus Flask Shard, went to the bonfire, used the Flask Shard, went back into the house to see what was on the map, and he was there. So I don't know, I haven't done enough testing to really confirm that. Just something to keep in mind, because that's what worked for me. And I'm actually going to show you right here where the house is. If you go into this first room right in front of you and you head all the way around to the back, you will find the Pharaoh's Lockstone, which, like I said, gives you access to the Caranthes Ring, which I'll show you later on in the video. So now that I showed you where to get the Pharaoh's Lockstone, I'm going to show you how to get the shortcut to the bonfire so you can fast travel back to Majula to make it a little bit easier. So we're back at the cave where we found Cale. We're going to want to head back out, bang a left, head up this ladder, run down these ramparts here, make sure to stab this archer numerous times in the butthole, because I'm sure he shot you numerous times while you were running across those wooden planks, especially if you were trying to fight all of the soldiers there, which I highly recommend you don't do because it is extremely frustrating. We're going to run up this tree here. And just something to note is if you actually head up that ladder to the right, you can fight the pursuer and potentially defeat him before you reach the end area, which I'll show you later on in the video. I got absolutely demolished, and then I went back up there and he doesn't show up again. So I think it's only a one-time encounter. I don't think you have to do it for him to show up later on. I think it's just an option to defeat him earlier on if you can. And this is how to not unlock the shortcut. So what I did was I fought the Pursuer. I came back trying to get him to respawn, thinking it was a boss fight. And I was running away from all the little minions, and a perfectly placed firebomb right up my poop chute. Michael Bay explosions everywhere, and I died. Luckily, you just respawn right at the bonfire, and the shortcut is open. So if you can't get him to hit the barrels without dying, then just stand there and suicide, because you'll get your souls back. It'll be right there, and the shortcut will be open anyways. So just something to keep in mind. But anyways, once you get the shortcut, make sure you head back to Majula to get the Pharaoh's Lockstone that I showed you earlier on, because you will need it for this room. And this room has multiple Ballista in it. Just take a one step in and then run back out. I died the first time I ran in here. I didn't see there was guys behind them. But take one step out, they'll shoot their own guy in the back, and then you'll just have to deal with a couple of stragglers. Pick up the items, and then what you're going to want to do is drop down to the floor below. There's a chest down there that is booby-trapped, and you'll see I almost died from the booby trap. And there is also a little smiley face, I like to call it. See it right there? It's a little surprised face. It reminds me of text messages I get with a little surprised face. That's what I'm going to call it, the text message surprise face. Make sure you use the Pharaoh's Lockstone on that little smiley face. Whether you bought it from the merchant or whether you got it from the mansion in Majula, doesn't really matter. But the Lockstone in Majula is free, and it doesn't really require that much effort to get. So once you use that on the little smiley face, there's a section on the wall that opens up. It is bright blue, and I'm oblivious to it. I try to run into it. Like, what am I doing? Just trying to make out with the face on the wall. Hopefully it's not lead paint. All you have to do is hit it, roll into it. You know, invisible walls in Dark Souls. And the Coranthi ring will actually be in the chest on the right, which will be extremely useful for boss fights later on in this level. So it's definitely something you're going to want to pick up. So from the Ballista room, we're going to want to turn directly behind us and run through this area with all the barrels and the giant armadillo man. You can run right by him, or you can choose to fight him. The barrels are explosive, and there are a couple of soldiers wielding firebombs that will throw them down at you. If you are able to lure Armadillo Man near one of the barrels, you're able to defeat him easily. With this sword +3, it's easy to defeat him anyways, so you may choose to do that anyways. And if you actually take a ladder up to the fire-wielding douchebags, there are a couple of items up there as well. But the more important piece I wanted to point out is the room after Armadillo Man. There is a giant sword with a couple of enemies on it, and at the end there is not only a breathtaking view, very, very sexy sunset, there is also a halberd, and I know a lot of people are fans of the halberd from the original Dark Souls, so if you want to pick this up again in Dark Souls 2, feel free to do so. I think it requires 25 strength, 14 dexterity. So this is the doorway right behind the giant sword. Try not to get backstabbed multiple times. This gate will be closed. You open it up, and it will bring you right to the ladder leading up to the second bonfire, which is a nice little shortcut, which we will need to take this elevator down to the last giant boss fight. It's a pretty simple boss fight, nothing too difficult. It kind of reminds me of the Iron Golem in the sense that you gotta just keep attacking the feet. Except the Iron Golem is a little bit easier in the sense that if you're able to stagger him by attacking him at the feet, you can get him to fall off the cliff. I don't know if there's any way to do that to the last giant. I haven't found a way. I've only fought him a couple of times. But all you have to do is literally the same strategy as the Iron Golem. Run towards his legs, run under his legs, and then attack his heel a couple of times, then run back away and do the same thing over and over again. It does have a pretty, I guess, a larger reach than the Iron Golem. especially once you get it down to, it looked like maybe it was maybe 30% health. It rips off one of its arms and starts attacking you with it. Little Ant-Man just taking off his own limbs to try to destroy you. I mean, I guess self-preservation, if that's what you want to do. I mean, go for it. But he does have a pretty extended reach at that point. So once you get treated to a pretty cool cutscene, it's just business as usual. I actually really like this boss fight. In terms of design, variations of attack and challenge, it's not that great of a boss fight. It's obviously intended to be one of the earlier boss fights of the game. At least in my experience, I haven't gotten through the whole game, obviously, so there could be an easier area. But the dungeon design is really cool. You got the sunlight coming down, and then you got the really cool looking boss. Face is really creepy. Kind of looks like a butthole, which creeps me out. But anybody that's had limited experience in Dark Souls and Demon Souls should have no problem with this boss fight. As you actually saw, I got backhanded a couple of times there. He will send you flying across the room. He's got a strong pimp hand. He knows what he's doing with it. I guess the only thing to really watch out for is his extended reach, especially when he rips off his arm around. I want to say it's 30, 40, 50% health. He rips off his arm. And he does have an extended reach. He can get like maybe 75% of the room. So just try to stay near his feet like that and make him stomp. He leaves his feet wide open to attack when he does that. And the area of effect isn't that large at all. So you just run in, attack his heel, and keep attacking his heel. When he rips off his arm like that, you get a solid 5-6 seconds to get in as many attacks as possible. I highly recommend whatever weapon you're using to just two-hand it and or I guess if you're a sorcerer, just keep spamming your spells when he rips off his arm, because you will be able to get in a good amount of damage when he does that. And I guess just another thing to note, this isn't the end-all be-all strategy. This is just, after a few times going through, this is what worked best for me. Obviously, if you're a sorcerer class, or you're not, you can't equip this. Oh, ouch. You're a different class, you don't have the requirements to equip this sword, then obviously you won't be doing this. And it's Dark Souls, so we all know there's multiple strategies, multiple ways to defeat everything in the game, essentially. There's not one set way to do it. I just wanted to share, what worked best for me after going through this area a few times. And hopefully it can help somebody out. So yeah, just keep hitting them. Just keep hitting him in those legs. And there we go. And then you will get the soldier key, which we will use to access the pursuer. Come at me, brah. So we head back to the bonfire. After you defeat the last giant, it may make sense to go level up if you so desire. I don't even know why I took this route. It doesn't make much sense. All you have to do is climb down the ladder. You don't need to run around this trunk and run down. All you need to do is go down the ladder next to the bonfire and head out to the area where the giant sword is. And I actually ran through back to all the doors that were noted as locked just to try to see if the soldier key opened any of them. And this is one of the doors I came into contact. There was actually quite a few doors that opened up with the soldier key, but this is the one that leads to the pursuer. Right here, this door will be locked. Open it up with the key. Run up here, a couple of enemies. Once you get to the top, there will be a fog gate, and you will meet the pursuer. And the pursuer is a really, really cool boss design, and it's actually pretty simple to defeat once you get his attack patterns down. Why did I don't understand why I decided to fight these guys here. Doesn't really make much sense. Especially since I suck. I can't even... Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, drink that sunny delight. Alright, so anyways, you head through the fog gate, and the pursuer will be dropped in by some crazy-ass bird. And then, honestly, all you have to do, you can use the Ballista over there, but you do leave yourself open to attack. But all you have to do is just strafe him to the left or the right, and just whenever he does an attack, just go and hit him once. roll. Just, you got to watch out for that combo there. That's the only thing you really have to watch out for. But other than that, just avoid it. Just avoid his attacks. Roll to the left, roll to the right, whatever you need to do. Just try to stay on his flank if you can. Time his attacks. It may take you quite a few times to get his attack patterns down. I think this was the 4th time before I defeated him. But you really shouldn't have any problem. It kind of, I mean, I was gonna say maybe Artorias, but not even. Artorias was harder than this fight. You really should have no problem. Just keep rolling whenever you see him winding up for an attack. Roll. But this boss fight is awesome. If you take a look at his design, you see the quiver on his back, his massive shield, his really cool attack animations, and then you have the sunset in the background. I didn't show you the cutscene, but he actually gets dropped in by a really cool looking hawk type bird looking thing. It's just a really cool boss fight all around. You got the water there, then you can actually see that giant sword that we climbed up earlier to grab the halberd. I'm really liking the design in this game so far. Like I've said earlier on in the video, I've only played, I guess in terms of actual content I've played, it's only a few hours. But in terms of actual gameplay, maybe 10 hours just going through this area, trying to find the best ways for me anyways to get through here so I can share it with you guys. But I actually haven't gotten too much further into the game other than this area. Just because, like I said, I've been trying to put together this guide. But I think this is my favorite boss fight so far. Obviously, there'll be far better boss fights later on in the game. This is the reason why we play Dark Souls, for the amazing boss fights. And get destroyed, Ed. Get destroyed, Ed. And once you defeat him, the Ring of Blades increases physical attack, which is definitely something we will probably need later on in the game. As you can see, you get a shitload of souls for defeating him. So, oh, come at me, bruh. Come at me. If you so desire, go level up a little bit. Maybe buy the Silver Cat Ring. There is a cat in Majula that can sell you that ring. I believe it's 13,000 souls. But you get decreased fall damage, which I feel like I'm going to need later on in the game. So, and the fact that you can equip 4 rings, I mean, why not buy it? We don't need to level up as much. Even though we can't farm in this game as much anymore, it's okay. And I'm actually just going to show you where to head over so you can get to the Bastille section of the game. You just head into this nest, press examine, and you will be picked up by the cool looking bird thingy that dropped in the pursuer. Caw! And it will bring you to, I think it's called the last Bastille. But anyways, I'm now going to show you where the armor is and the sword and shield. Drangleic, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I tried to snipe these dudes out. I didn't realize I had to press A. Oh, I almost got that guy. He is so lucky. But all you have to do is drop down this ledge here. See that guy over there, that dead guy over there. Just drop down. Drop down again. You'll find the Drangleic armor and the sword and the shield. And it's kind of, that was the end goal of this video. But it really was sort of, I didn't just want to make a video showing you where it is without showing you the exact steps that you need to take. And the only way I could show you the exact steps that you needed to take to get this armor and this weapon and this shield was to show you how to get through each area and how to get to each boss. That's really the only way I could make this video. So if the length, if you didn't make it to the end of the video, I apologize, but I wanted to make sure that was in depth. I cut out as much of the items that I felt weren't important. But there are a number of other items in this area that you can collect. I just wanted to make it as straightforward as possible without including too much filler in the video, making it like 45 minutes long. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you found it informative. I'm having a blast playing this game right now. I really hope, my guys, what does he do? Mr. Mustachio needs to drop a dookie. But I really hope you guys are enjoying Dark Souls 2 right now. I'm having a blast playing this game, like I said. And I hope you're enjoying life. And hopefully I see you on the next Dark Souls 2 video. So take care, everybody. And I'll see you later.